Welcome back, everybody. In this video, I want to talk about SMART goals. The reason being is that in the next video, I'm actually going to ask you to put SMART goals around each traffic generation method that you choose. So again, you're going to choose how you're going to drive traffic to your online universe, but I want you to really have what I call SMART goals around them. Again, SMART goals, that's something I didn't invent. It's out there, but a lot of you may not have ever heard of this or worked in this manner, so I want to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about before we jump in. So SMART goals, basically it's what it says, it's S-M-A-R-T. And so a goal to be effective has to have those 5 elements in there. I find a lot of times when people fail, you can trace it back and their goal didn't have one of those 5. So you really have to have all 5. It's not like if you have 4, you're going to be okay. It's like all 5 have to be there before you get started, and then your chance of success goes way up. So let's review real quick. S stands for specific. So your goal has to be, again, very specific. I want to get, 10,000, followers on Twitter. Whatever. It's got to be kind of measurable, because again, if it's kind of vague, then, when you look back, you're like, well, did I really have success, or did I not, did I not have success? So that ties into M, which again is measurable. So, if it's, I want fans to like me more. Well, how do we really measure that? Maybe if you want to say, well, I want, normally on every post, my average amount of likes on every post is, 10, I want to get it to 20 or something like that. Then it's something that you can actually, measure. And then that's the only way that you can improve. So, the old saying, which you may have heard of, is that, you can't improve what you can't measure. So if you can't measure it, it's not going to work. So make sure that, you really, you can measure it. So, a lot of this might sound simple, but you'd be amazed how people don't do this, and then they fail at the end, and they kind of wonder why, and they usually, what I find is they tend to blame something else that's completely unrelated. So, A, now let's move on to A. So we've talked about specific, measurable. A is actionable or attainable. So it's something that you can actually do. So again, for me, if I said, well, my goal is to get to the moon or to walk on the moon, I mean, could I get there? Probably, but it's going to take a lot more than, just whatever, 3 months or something like that. So it's got to be something that you can realistically attain with your skill level and your abilities right now. And again, if you're a beginner with this, marketing for musicians, I would just pick one thing and really kind of get good at that. So now again, that's more attainable for you. If you start picking 3 or 4 things and try to do all at one time, that's probably where you're going to fail, because again, you're not experienced with it. If you're an experienced marketer, then yeah, go with it, and your chance of success should still be the same. So that's it's got to be something that's realistic or attainable. Now R, what it really stands for, is it going to have a return? Is it going to return you something valuable? And this one's really, really important, because again, what I see is, musicians and bands are like, well, we want to get a record, we want to make a record, we want to get our first album out there. Okay, I mean, that's awesome. My daughter's a musician, and we've talked about that a lot, but that's a lot of time and effort. Now, once you get that out there, if that's your goal, what are you going to do? What is it going to get for you? Do you see what I'm saying? It's, at the end of the day, like just having, an album of 10 songs, it doesn't put you in any different position than you were before you had the 10 songs. Now you've got 10 songs, okay, you can, send them to your friends and family, but, if you haven't done your marketing, you haven't pre-built all this infrastructure that we talk about, who's going to listen to your album? So that's an example of a goal it's a good goal, and I recommend it, but make sure that it fits in with something that's going to really give you a return. And again, with online marketing, again, obviously we're talking about musicians here, is that a lot of times what I see musicians do is, I want to get a certain number of, Facebook likes, or I want to get, a certain number of views on my YouTube video. And again, that specifically isn't going to get you anywhere. So you work really hard, you might get to your goal, or maybe just short of it or whatever, but you get to some kind of progress, but then you sit back and go, I didn't really, I'm really in the same position I was before I did all this work. So make sure it's going to give you some kind of return. Okay, so if you have, if you collect 1,000 emails and you have a system to do something with it, all of a sudden, you've hopefully put some money in your bank. Now you've got a return, both financially and something that's actionable that you can use in the future. So that's an important one that I see a lot of people kind of fall down with, is that they just kind of do something, and even if it works, it puts them in the same position they were when they started, and they really haven't moved themselves forward in any meaningful way. So that's the R. I think one of the most important ones that people really fall down on. And then T, of course, is put a timeline on it. Okay, and again, make it a realistic timeline. I see it both ways, where it's like, I'm going to get I'm going to get 10,000 fans. I'm going to do it in 30 days, and you've never done this before. Well, that's probably too short of a time frame. And then the other thing is, people don't put time frames, and a year later you're talking to them and they're still kind of talking about the same thing, and they really haven't done really anything meaningful towards it. So you have to have something that's a realistic goal. I like to think of in terms of 30-day blocks. So I like to think, at the first, actually prior to the first of the month, a few days before, I make sure I know, like, for that month, where I'm recording this in March, so close to April 1st, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to really review and say, okay, what do I need to accomplish in April to really move myself and my goals forward? And then, once I have that, I kind of keep it in one place. Every day I look at that. And then on a weekly basis, I again take that and say, what am I going to do this week? So that by the end of April, when I'm sitting here on April 30th, I'm like, yeah, I really crushed it. So that's what I recommend. I think, that works really well for me. If you want to use that as well, that would be good. But, you can do this on a yearly basis, a quarterly basis, a monthly basis, a weekly basis, even a daily basis. What do I have to accomplish by the end of the day today in order to make today a great day? You put that up, you decide it before, you decide it the night before, so that you're not waking up and thinking about this, and as soon as you wake up, boom, it's there, you get it done. So always put a timeline around your goals. That's so important. And it takes some time. Once you get good at it, it's just it's boom. It's something that just really happens. If you look at my computer, which is just kind of over there, you'll see, like, right there. It's like, what do I have to accomplish in the month of March? And I'm working on that. Boom. Every day I look at it, say, oh yeah, I got to do that. And I if I'm slacking a little bit or things are not moving forward, I kind of put a little more energy back into that. So hopefully that helps. Again, always have SMART goals no matter what you're doing. And I'm going to ask you to do that in the next section. So I wanted to explain that a little bit. But again, SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, gives you a return, and has a timeline associated with it. So those are SMART goals. Always use them. I will guarantee your success will go up in terms of attaining your goals, and it'll make you an incredible online music marketer. So I will see you. That's all for this video. I will see you in the next video.